To ask you questions, do you have any more things you want to add?
I think now is actually an historic moment because it's the first time that two ministers, ex-minister on the government, have put together as the president. First time, okay? So this is the opportunity.
Accountability.
Okay, golden opportunity. Any questions from the students? Anyone?
Okay, I think you take that.
Yes.
So, since both of you are here, I would like to ask, as it's suggested by Mr. Wong that it is difficult to address environmental issues in Hong Kong. I would like to ask, is it even more difficult or easier when these days?
I think it's a very good question. I think the question will response from Sarah and me, okay? Because I think we were in the position about a decade ago, and I think you can share your experience how to address the topic about the behavior attitude, let's say the radio about the environment and compare the space. Sarah, you go. Please be first.
Okay, well actually it's not just the government. It started, the environmental movement started in the Philippines. After a long time after industrialization, it became very focused because of the disaster in London, the London fog that killed hundreds of people over a week because of the sulfur dioxide. And then there are pesticide incidents in the United States. You have read the book The Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. It's a great book. Then we realize the environment is part of us, that the plants and the animals are things that have no voice. Nobody spoke up for them. Somebody has to help them. But then when the environmentalists came up to speak, it was considered as radical and somehow not accepted by the mainstream society. And it's true that environment does carry a cost. So most business will consider it as the cost center. And most policymakers will consider tree huggers are crazy. They are not looking at economic development, they are only costing us trouble and more money to do any project for the advancement of humanity. But this has all changed because we do realize without economics, we can't do anything. No money, we cannot do anything about the environment. But with money, does it mean that you can do anything you want? So in 1992, in the first Rio summit, the idea of sustainable development came up so that we have proposal and accepted principle that environmental, economic, and social dimensions should work together in a balanced manner so that we get advancement in every aspect of these three very important basic needs of life instead of skewed on either any one of them. And this has been going on for the past 20-something. Real 20 plus did not make much progress. And so in policy making, the concept of polluter change has become more acceptable. During my time, I started charging for construction waste, whereas 10 years before that, people went in outlawed, and the Deputy Secretary for Environment, what's his name? Stephen Buckley, had to go to the truck drivers and apologize and sign a check and say, I will never put in this legislation again. So when I revived it in 2005, my staff of the company said, you don't have a memory of what happened. You're going to get really badly hurt. But it went past. because the public was in support. And also because of technology, because of iPhone, not yet iPhone, but phones with SMS. We were able to use the phone to make sure the truck drivers who carry construction waste to the disposal site did not have to pay. The crux of the matter was the payment, because the garbage did not belong to them. And when they went there, they had to pay for it, and the owner may not pay them back. So anyway, technology and everything else helped a lot. And also you are paying for the sewage charge now. And again, people were very opposed to it because the restaurants have to pay a surcharge. And they say it's not fair. And so we're putting a fairer system for everybody. But they still have to pay more because they are the more intense polluters. In every era, you have to think of fairness, acceptability at that stage of development, and use technology to solve operational problems in your work. But when it comes to policy making or politics, I think now is more bottom-up. The engagement of the public has to happen at a very early stage, and not as an afterthought, or the old British system of green paper and white paper. By the time it comes to white paper, people will not be happy for the late consultation. So that's
Thank you, Sarah. I have a lot of points to add. Firstly, I mentioned that I studied architecture. In my year 5, when I did my thesis is about green building. Okay? But at that time, I can tell you that in the whole library of Hong Kong building, there's no such book about green building. Okay? And even my thesis supervisors, actually they did not know about that. Okay? So you can imagine my thesis was not well done. Okay? No internet at that time. Okay? So probably I should born later. Okay? Then I can have books from the library about green building and also join the new college. But things did change. Number of things. After graduating from Hong Kong, I worked on a number of projects in Hong Kong. I furthered my study on green building in Canada, UBC, and I found that UBC actually is a very good environment. They are the greenest campus in the whole North America. Okay? And as a dream, Hong Kong U will become the greenest campus in Hong Kong and also in our region. Is it okay? That's very important. Okay? When I graduated from UBC, they asked the graduate to make a pledge. No matter you study architecture, businesses, or others, you have to integrate sustainability as part of your operation. That's very important, a very key message. Okay? It's not only about environmental science, not only about the engineers, not only about architects, but every bit of operation, every subject should integrate that in the operation. So I hope that our culture, thinking, will be integrated in Hong Kong, and I think students can supplement. I have two more things to add. One is about the construction charge. Okay, that has been very effective because it's quality based. That means you have more construction waste, that you have to pay more. And with that law implemented in 2006, around that time, the waste from the construction site dropped by about half, okay, within a year or so. So that is very important. In Hong Kong, people are very money conscious. But that law has not been, charging, has not been changed for since your time. Okay? And now I'm going to raise the fee. Through law supplies, I talked to the contractors, the builders, to the developers. No one objects to the raise of fee. So it's actually a change in culture. Okay? No. Developers have to pay for that. But they see the balance between the environment and the cost. And in fact, the cost is not a huge sum to a large development. So it's a kind of changing in the mindset. Another example is about charging the municipal solid waste, some of ourselves. When I was in this position 3 years ago, actually, truthfully, the lawmakers did not support this challenge. Because they told me, yes, if you are going to really push that law to the council, okay, you will lose your position. Effectively, they did. But we got through certain process, okay? We launched engagement with support by the National through the Council for Sustainable Development, territorial engagement. That's an important process that we got the public support on this job. Okay, so I'm telling you that within 2 to 3 years, we got through the process and got the public support, and now most of the lawmakers change their mind. Okay, they no longer try to meet. They will support it. Certainly, they will add other requests, compensation, subsidies, whatever. I think it's a much change in their mindset. Last one is that I can see positive signs. I can look at your faces. You are the world leaders, the future leaders for Hong Kong. If more people put these belief in sustainability into integration in the operation and also put in big actions, Hong Kong would have the hope to be a leader about sustainability. I've been working on green building in Hong Kong for more than 2 decades. Hong Kong actually is a world leader about green building in our region. Okay, certainly we have to compete with Singapore and Tokyo. Okay, these cities are the leaders about green building in Asia. By mid-2017, the world will organize the biggest World Green Building Conference. Okay, Hong Kong was one of the biggest to host the event. Okay, so this World event is similar to the Green Building Olympics. I can tell you that Hong Kong just won the hosting right, but that event will be held in Hong Kong. That's very important for Hong Kong and also for our region. So Hong Kong is not too bad, and we're better.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. The university, in common with many other universities, has made commitments to sustainability, and it's easy to make commitments. It's much more difficult to deliver on those commitments. And what we've been doing in recent months is actually focusing on renewing those commitments, but then delivering on them, going that step further and giving effect to what we've said. So we've done 3 things, I think, of note that I'll say. The first is that we joined and were immediately elected to the steering committee of ISCN, which is the International Sustainability Campus Network. And we hosted a conference in Hong Kong at which the Minister spoke earlier this year. And that was very successful because it puts us in the company of University of British Columbia and other great universities that are leading the way in this. The second thing we've done, and this is to some extent breaking news, is that we're presenting a new strategic plan for consultation which we've got in the next few weeks. And as part of that we talk about the defining characteristics of Hong Kong youth. And we make commitments to excellence and as you would expect. But also as one of those defining characteristics we make a commitment to sustainability. So what will define Hong Kong youth going forward is this commitment to sustainability. And the third thing, and I think this is in many ways the most important thing, is that we're now interested in scaling up the activities that we see. There's lots of activity going on at grassroots level, and we've seen a lot of it this evening. But what we want to do now is to scale up that activity, to go to a different level. And we've been talking to our finance committee, and we've talked to our investment committee, and we're looking at a commitment to what's called a green revolving fund. We will take a significant amount of money from our investments, from Hong Kong investments, and use that money to invest in the sorts of projects that we've seen, waste management, rooftop farming, the carbon management side of things, and then scale up and then use the savings, and there will be significant savings from that, back into that fund, so that the fund grows effectively. So 3 commitments that move from talking about things to actually doing something about it and scaling it up. And that's our commitment to you, and you've made your commitment to us, we know that, but our commitment back to you is to do effective what this one is.
Hi, I'm student, research student studying ecology and from the International Society. So I want to ask a very short question. But just now you've mentioned that the world or the society, like they view environmental conservation as a very weird mindset, so they think it's just crazy. But now it's improving, okay? So there's a very heated debate right now about the development of country parks. So in your view, what do you think about this? What is the direction about how we should face this problem in Hong Kong society? Thank you.
Me. Okay, you can supplement. Okay. Okay, country park is now under my portfolio. Okay, so that's why I go hiking and see and check the state of the country parks under my control. Basically, I think this term of government is very clear. Okay, because development is under Paul Chan. Okay, he's heading the Development Bureau. He made a very clear announcement that there's no plan from his bureau to make any study on developing country parks for different housing needs. Okay, so without such request, so actually I would like to respond. Okay, there's no plan within this current government. But certainly the other people raise concern about gaining land for housing supply. Okay, but on top of that, some people are proposing that for country parks, would there be certain parts with lower ecological value that could be used to help reduce the pressures on housing supply? So that's the question. But the reality is that in recent years, within this term, our country parks area have been in fact expanding. You know that? We are having larger country parks over the last few years. Because, for instance, we have made Liao, the big wave bay in Saigon. Previously, it belonged to the private land. Now we zoned the area and put into a country park. And it accounts for about tens of hectares of land. And actually, there are other, we call it enclave, similar to Liao. We have already rezoned them and put them into country park. So in fact, contrary to many people's mindset, this government has been expanding the area of country parks, and we do not have any plan to develop any of this area for housing. But for long term, there are different voices. I think we are at this stage busy enough to handle what we have been doing. Okay, but I think in long term, frankly speaking, I'm open-minded because in the old days, when people designate the country parks, in the old days, they are surrounding the catchment areas and more scenic areas. But in a certain time, when they designate country parks, the supplement, there are certain grey areas, in fact, included in country parks. So if you study ecology and you guys under conservation, you may have a different view about that. I'm open-minded about that. But for this term, it's very clear, no plan.
No, I just want to say, in the concern of time, because it's Sunday night, and they all need to work tomorrow, and we need to work tomorrow too. So may I ask for the really last question? Anyone? Yes.
I'm happy interested in the recycling business in Hong Kong. I'm not so familiar with that, but I've heard that the recycling business in Hong Kong is not so supported by the government, but they can earn profit and also continue the sustainability in Hong Kong. So what is your perspective or the government perspective into recycling business, like paper, glass, or other things?
As I said earlier during the dinner time, this government is going to be more supportive to the recycling industry. Okay, we asked Carrie Lam, our Chief Secretary, to steer a committee to find ways in a comprehensive way to support the recycling industry, from land supply to training, to recycling fund, to some of the we call the port area, also priority for recyclers to export some of the recyclables to the regional areas. So we are working on that. But the reality is that, firstly, Hong Kong overall is facing the shortage of land. Okay? Unlike other countries or cities, there are more brownfield sites to support the recycling industry. Even though we do want to support them, the supply will be limited. Okay? The priority is clearly on housing. Secondly, we don't have a significant industrial base in Hong Kong. And Hong Kong only with 7 million people, and they don't have no longer having a tradition of industrial production in Hong Kong to meet our local needs. So many of things are to be exported. But I think that's okay, because for the environment, we do not need to require everything to be within our territory. Regional collaboration is really the key. Okay, so that we can, for air, for waste, and for others, even for energy, that we should have the kind of our regional perspective. So exporting certain recyclables to other areas for beneficial use it should be seen in a positive way. The new thing is that we just set up a recycling fund, okay, that would provide certain incentive or support to the recycling industry. And the biggest problem is that currently Hong Kong is probably the only real city on earth without quality-based waste charge. Okay, almost free when we come to days out of my home. So the forthcoming quality-based waste collection law will be very important. That will change the mindset of Hong Kong people. The more you go away, the more you have to pay. Okay, so the recycling fund is seen as kind of interim measure. Okay, for these 2 to 3 years before the implementation of the quality-based waste charge law. Okay, and when we have the charging law to be paid, that will be a totally different landscape for waste reduction, management, and recycling industry. Okay. At the same time, we are building up certain facilities to help to support the recycling. I mentioned that we do have a food waste plan, because food waste recycling is a most sticky problem in Hong Kong, given our climate and density. And the government is planning a number of, say, about 4 to 5 food waste plants that can help to recycle the food waste and turn them into energy or biogas. Okay, that will handle the probably largest share of recyclables in Hong Kong. But I would like to add two points. One is that for Hong Kong's waste problem, the biggest challenge is not about recycling, even though it's challenging. The biggest challenge is that at source, each of us on average are generating more waste than other people in Tokyo, in Taipei, or in Seoul. Okay? Including general waste, including food waste. Our food waste generation per person at source is almost 80% or double than those in Seoul or Taipei. So that's the biggest problem, because recycling also entails resource consumption. So it's not really the topmost priority. So reduction at source is the key. And what I would like to say. Okay, the last point is that we do have a 10-year waste reduction blueprint, okay, comprising lawmaking, food-wise, recycling, and also waste to energy. Okay, and the last point is also important to be understood by people, because when we talk about lift extension and incinerators, we faced very strong objection to that. But actually, waste to energy plant could also support recycling. Because on one hand, it turns certain resources into energy. At the same time, the incineration process also help to extract certain say metals or something like that, and put them back to the recycling chain. So all these will help to different extent of the recycling industry. Okay.
I think that's very well said. It's getting late, as Billy puts it. You can always have another talk with me when we have the chance. And we thank Mr. Wong very much today for being with us and answer all these questions so thoroughly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening. Thank you.